Hello, my dear church boys, and welcome back to Saint Robert's Daygame podcast. And in this podcast episode, I am sitting here with the one and only
Mario.
Tubone,
Well
our
said.
Italian porn star. We can't say it Italian stallion. That is Rocco's. That is Rocco's
Yeah.
tagline or whatever. We're gonna
I
get
cannot
sued.
claim the title, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mario has been on this podcast several times before. He was the student who was learning slow but steady, and
Was I?
he was, yeah, you were learning slow and steady. You were the guy who was kind of doing the right things for a long time before they started clicking, and you're still kind of progressing. But your progress, although you reached some pretty great heights, it's always funny to see how you went from like a guy who was doing the right things and saying the right things but completely failing, and then you started succeeding more and more and more, and sucking less and less, and then giving better and better advice in the chat and less mental masturbation. Um, so it's just an interesting story how you went from like your slow and steady just basically worked your turtle game.
My turtle game.
Your turtle game fucking worked. Okay, and we're gonna talk about we have talked about all of your fucking, like, how you started, how you kind of progressed, and all of that. We did a podcast in Budapest. I think we haven't done one after that.
Mexico.
Well, that was about game in Mexico. So we're gonna talk about how you went from there, from starting out, learning, getting your first lays, to what are you now at, like 20 day game lays or something?
I think 22, 23.
22, 23 day game lays, and most importantly, you've done some threesomes. Regardless if they were day game, non-day game, I don't even know. But we're gonna talk about how you got to those, and we're gonna talk about your BDSM adventures and all of that shit. Before we get into that, guys, let me drop a few updates. As always, we are sitting here in my lovely love cave in Riga, Latvia, because Mario has arrived to celebrate the midsummer solstice with us, just as Wolf is arriving, I think, later today, and Mr. T is arriving tomorrow early morning. And we're gonna go to Latvian wilderness, and we're gonna do barbecue, drink a lot of beer,
have a good time,
sleep in tents, hopefully go skinny dipping, super drunk, and then get, like, pass out in a field, have a horse pee on us because he didn't see us middle of the night. Basically, we're going out in the wilderness for a few days with all the guys, and we're gonna be doing some more content with them because all of us are going to Budapest later. We have 2 students joining us to hang out with us and learn day game in a city with some of the hottest girls in Europe. If you guys watched the best day game cities in summer 2022 for meeting girls in Europe, blah blah blah. Like, I talked about Budapest having some of the hottest girls in Europe. I still stand by that. They're super hard to game though, but that's a whole different conversation. But they're incredibly hot. So, and if you're talking about what's next, I have one coaching spot in Sweden, and in Latvia right now we have a lot of Swedish students, and I just see them everywhere, and they're blonde, and they have tits, and they have asses, and they're very kind of, they seem very kind of, they seem different. They have this playful vibe about them, at the same time being kind of serious. They're a mix between the both worlds, as weird as that sounds. And I've heard so much about how beautiful the Swedish girls are, the blondes with their amazing shapes, and I just wanted to go and see that for myself. So I'm going there in a few weeks, and I will have one more coaching spot available there yet. If you like what you hear about the hot Swedish blondes and you want to join me, then, well, the link is in the description to find out more about coaching. So that's with what's happening. In September, I'm going to a more interesting location with tons of Russian expats. That's going to be pretty sick, but that's going to be announced on my YouTube channel and on the mailing list and everywhere else. So if you're there, you will know about it. And if you're in the group chat with our 300 plus guys from all over the world, then you'll find out about it first. Anyways, with all of this intro being out of the way, the last time we spoke with you on the podcast was in Mexico. That was like fucking 1.5 years ago. It was like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like November or like December, January, something like. I
yeah,
don't fucking know when that was. Like a
yeah.
long
It
time
was a
ago.
year
Like,
and a half ago last
it was
time.
like a New Year's, but like 1.5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. It was a while.
That was crazy. That was the first time I went to Mexico with all of you, and that was fucking incredible. So what has happened in your game? What are the biggest aha moments, so to say, you've had in this 1.5 years?
So I guess I became more polarizing. So let me go deeper a little bit on that, if you don't mind me going a little bit deeper. It's just like before, I was like, okay, follow the scheme, follow the model, don't freestyle out of it, and this is what I would recommend 95% of the cases.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was getting a fair amount of numbers, I would say, but then you want to have these text conversations over WhatsApp that they go to nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
or you have these conversations about, hey, it was your day, how was yours, hey, how about we meet for a drink, and I don't know, it never materialized the date. Well, it does, but the amount of numbers you get from to date conversion, it was a little bit not interesting.
Yes.
So I realized, well, probably it's just friendly chats and people drop their number because I mean it was a friendly chat. Why not? Instead of adding spice and adding that sexual energy into it. Well, obviously not all the time, because otherwise you're just a creep. And you don't go in the street talking about ropes and stuff, unless there's always the outlier case. But yeah, I guess I became more polarizing, also because I've been living in an area where you don't have a lot of volume during the day. It's very spread, so it's
Yeah.
very hard to do efficiently like you would be in a city,
Is
like
it a
here.
secret where you were living?
Kinda,
Okay.
I like to be a secret man. No, it's just like I just go there because I like the weather and surfing. So
Okay.
it's
Can we say the country?
yeah, it's in Spain. So ooh, Spain. Um, it's just like that, becoming more polarizing, and becoming like you will see the moment where in the eyes it becomes there's a difference in the thing. Sorry.
So you were more polarizing. You decided to be more direct in your sets, have more sexual energy, and realized, well, this is either going to go faster or this is going to go nowhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah. Because you were basically not afraid to lose them because you were being too
Yeah,
nice. You said, fuck this,
exactly.
I wanna, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing. You stop being a bit of a nice guy.
Yeah, that was the point, because like, I came to the realization, it's like, well, what do you want? Phone numbers or you want to get laid?
Yes.
It's like, I don't know, you have an online dating profile. You want matches or you want to get laid?
Yes.
Because if you get 100 matches and you don't get laid,
Fuck that shit.
what's the problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you get 100 numbers, you do 100 sets, and every girl enthusiastically drop the number, but they're not enthusiastic in having, an encounter with you.
Anal encounter.
Well, yeah, that would be also nice. What's the purpose of that?
I've literally throat fucked a girl yesterday, exactly where you're sitting right now.
Okay, that's good. Well, if you guys don't hear me in the next 9 months, you know what happened. But anyway, it's just like, I would say, yeah, everybody talks about know what you want and go for it. But one thing is like, okay, I understand it rationally, and I repeat it to myself, slapping my face in the mirror every morning.
When you understand it rationally, it's sort of like, I understand it, but this is mental masturbation type of thing. And how do I do it in real practical steps? Is that what you're saying?
But yeah, as well, I would say the first step is like, yeah, it's like a diet, you should be eating less and move more, okay? But you're fucking doing it, you know? So then you just like, okay, I know I have to do this, and stop caring. Because then if you always care about thinking forward in the future about that, then you start to, adopt always the same scheme that proved to not work.
So how were you in practical terms making your sets more polarized? What exactly were you doing? What can someone who is in that situation do?
Yeah, at the beginning it was a little bit fun because it was like, I'm gonna try to use as less words as possible and as low as possible, which for me was a really big step because you can't keep calm, but and just look at the eyes. So instead of, hey, I thought you were looking very nice, what I noticed about you was da 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 da, I was like, hey, you are sexy. And yeah, I know at the beginning it's
I know,
always
I
like
like it. I
this.
like, keep going, keep going.
And I saw you walking with all just the bikini on top of you, and I guess you just finished swimming. So I wanted to say hello. I
Yeah,
mean, now that I'm
yeah.
doing this,
I've
it's
done this. I've done this.
yeah,
Definitely,
yeah,
100%, man. 100%. Like those, and those are not tiger eyes that you're using. You're using like, I'm already fucking you eyes.
yeah, 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 absolutely. That's the thing. It's not like, "Grrr," but I don't know. It's you feel a completely different energy. I mean, right now it's you and me on the couch, so you don't get that vibe. But no offense, but you're just not
You
my
don't.
type.
I'm not your type.
It's just like it feels completely different, which I don't like to talk about feelings because there's always subjective. You cannot measure,
Oh wait, you
etc.
fell in love with the chick in Mexico. I totally forgot about that. That was so hilarious. You were
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna stay in Mexico and marry her."
Yeah.
Well, not really, but right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
pretty cool. That was really cool, actually. That was really nice.
yeah,
That was pretty
absolutely.
cool. That's
It,
kind of point of this, like, because you can only like it's fun to travel to all these places and just
mhm.
fuck chicks, but then you want to be in one place and just like hang out with a chick, like really hang out with someone, and then you go on a trip again, and you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, but you see, probably also comes with age because if I look at myself 10 years ago, I was like, just, go for as many as possible, And now I'm not really that interested in just like a quick thing, I probably, if I meet someone that they click with and the sex is good, I'm the one interested in repeating.
Yeah, I heard that you said how you were in Gdansk and then this chick that was with you for 3 days, and you said, listen, I gotta wake up tomorrow super early, like you can't stay over tonight just so you could fuck some Ukrainian girl. Sounds like a real boyfriend move.
Wow, it's not every day, so
So,
but
anyways, okay, we were talking about the slow talking and how to make the set more sexual in that way. Uh, I can already imagine a beginner who's just starting out and he's hearing this and he's like a bit of, we have very different types of guys, and we have the nerdy
mhm,
type. And the nerdy type is the guy who usually, like, his social skills in general are a bit lagging, and
mhm.
and and the stereotype about day game, when I tell chicks what I do, like, they used to think, oh, so like you work with like guys that have fucking problems. It's like, well, no, like, actually most guys I coach are like incredible fucking dudes. This is the one thing they want to improve, because when they were younger they were dating like 20-year-old hot chicks, and now they're like 37 or whatever, and they're like, oh shit, like girls around me are 37, like I'm not doing this.
Mhm.
and those are actually the guys that are very oriented to improving their lives and everything else, and this is just one thing they improve, but still there's like a small percentage of guys that do have some kind of challenges when it comes to social skills.
Mm-hmm.
And if you imagine them maybe after 3 Daygame lays going out on the street and like, hey, you look sexy, and like that could probably like
Yeah,
turn to
probably
shit.
you would have the creep alert
Yeah,
call.
I would say get like 10 Daygame lays before you do this.
Yeah, definitely. Because look, there are certain things that you cannot cheat or optimize your way in. And from someone that loves hacking, biohacking, all these tricks, and try to get the best out of it from everything, might sound weird, but yeah, there's only one way, and it's the hard way. You have to. It's like you have to tune your social muscles, and there is no way.
Yeah,
You have to slowly get there. If you from zero to hero, it doesn't exist.
yeah. So get to 10 Daygame lays, buy basics, and then once you want to take your game to like the more sexual level, become more polarized, and then in that way also filter, not just filter for girls that will be up for more adventures, but also set yourself up as the guy for adventures. Yeah, because that's kind of how you sleep with girls that are way younger than you. Because if you're just a nice guy, then it's gonna be hard to like sleep with 20-year-olds when you're like 45 or something. But if you set yourself up as this guy that she's gonna have an adventure with the other guy that's gonna teach her shit, show her shit, and it's gonna be amazing, then that really fucking works, and that's how you get threesomes and everything else. Okay, so one thing you realized, you started becoming more polarized. What else are the big things that have changed in your game, or the big aha moments after Mexico?
Probably, I would say even in Mexico when you work in Quinta Avenida, I was like approaching when I was having good mood, the pump from the gym, you feel the testosterone pushing, and now really embraced like, well, if I see a good-looking girl crossing the street, probably there is a reason why I noticed her. From all the things I could notice, I noticed her. So I just take, okay, well, gotta do what you gotta do. And even though I would say probably state control, it's called something like that, where it's just like 5 minutes before you were like, oh, I'm tired, I'm in a shit mood, I don't want to do this, da da da. But now, well, I mean, you seen it. If you see it, you do it.
So you open regardless of your mood.
Yes.
Yes, that's a big one. Wait, did I talk with you about the A game, B game, C game?
I don't.
It's a concept I haven't talked about on a podcast, and it comes from online poker. So when you're playing poker, you have your A game. You're like in the beginning of a session, you're warmed up. You're like, your brain is sharp. You're playing good, and then like some motherfucker pulls one of his two outs and you lose on a river, and like that happens 3 times in a row, and you're not on your A game anymore, you're on your B game, and you start making many mistakes, and that's how you start losing money, and maybe you end up on your C game and you're really fucked up. So a very interesting idea I learned from when I was playing poker professionally for 5 years was you don't need to improve your A game very often. Very often you need to improve your B game and your C game. So how are you playing when you're really fucked up?
Yeah.
So when you're doing shitty. So, and the same goes with day games. So you don't have to be in your fucking like warmed up after 5 sets and just feeling great and just had your coffee and everything is like it's sunny and it's spring and it's great. No, you can just be in a shitty mood and still open and
Also, because if you think about it, it's more like if you take a average, you're more on a B game more than A game.
yeah,
This
of
idea that
course.
if I'm gonna open only when I'm at my top, you're not gonna do very well.
And you can only open when you do 10 sessions, like 10 sets in a session, because if you need your A game, then at least for the first maybe year or more, you will need to, like, your first sets will be warm-up sets. You're gonna like warm up and then then something's going to start happening after your fifth set, and you're going to start running better sets. But whereas now, when you open anyone, you're just like, oh, you're not going to be in your A game. So, and you get used to that. But then again, so how did you see that work with the results? How are you? What are the results when you're opening kind of here or there without warming up, without being in a good state, or?
I would guess the results are still okay. Depends also different factors. Where you are, what type of game you run. If you run the nice guy or you go straight polarizing, what I do. I was keeping a little bit of stats lately. If it means that to me, they means nothing.
Yeah, fuck stats. Oh, like don't get me wrong. Like if you learn Daygame, if you're learning Daygame, you need your stats. Like you need to keep stats. Like stats are so crucial for learning. I'm a big stats guy, but I don't keep them anymore because like I'll go to a new city and I'll keep stats there. Yeah. Like I'll do 100 sets and it's like, okay, I got this many lays, so this is my open to lay ratio. Just kind of to see how I'm doing in the city out of curiosity. But in general, so I'm fine with not like fuck stats once you are like past, I don't know, like once you're a good open to lay ratio, fuck stats.
Yeah, we could go a little bit geeky here. It's like, well, you keep real good stats or just vanity metrics. It's like, well, how many girls leave after you stack this and that?
Fuck that. I don't do that. That's like because I'm not gonna change shit. Like I don't have time to do that.
Embrace the geek inside you.
I just did simple stats. I just like, did I open? Did I number close? Did I text? Did she respond? Did I date request? Did she agree? Did she come out? So like to filter out the flakes where you set up a date and it didn't happen. Like, did I text her after the first date? Did I date request for the second date? Did it happen? Did we get a lay? Was there a kiss? If lay, then on which date? And then I have some sets where like it was like a spreadsheet where I would just like enter one if there was a lay, and then on the bottom of the sheet I would just sum all of that. And then there was this one set where was there a lay, and instead of one there was two, because it was a three set, and I fucked two chicks from the three set.
Magic happens
in a threesome. So, anyways, you were saying that So how was your game when you are kind of opening in your B game in doing your everyday shit without warming up?
I would say it looks. How can I say this? I don't want to say it looks like a game because when you have it, you always feel a little bit like an edge, But from results, from purely like outcome, I would say it looks pretty much similar. Also because probably now that, like I said, I am more efficient with the time involved in this, so I don't need to spend a whole Saturday doing 20 sets, and walking 21 kilometers, and then you're just like, oh damn, I have a date tonight. How the hell I'm gonna show up, So it's just like, I don't know, it looks like pretty much the same, but in less time and with better outcomes. Like you immediately see where it's very easy to predict where this goes in the first 2 minutes.
It was also probably because once you get decent at Daygame, maybe you have like 20 plus lays, like 15 plus or something, you're kind of starting to understand things. Is your B game probably is better than most guys' A game.
Probably.
Like you take a beginner who's like just starting out, maybe has like a few Daygame lays and just like maybe like 2, 3, yeah. His A game is probably like worse than a good Daygamer. It's like, I just woke up, I'm super hangover, I can't even talk to you right now, game. So no, but that's okay. That's kind of that's the job to kind of progress to that level, and of course there are many levels. But at one point I just stopped giving a fuck, and I don't know. Like I'm as long as I have a few regulars, I'm super happy.
Yeah, I think everybody has different goals. To me, the idea is always to what I would like to have. It's a open. Well, not an open relation, but
one side open relationship.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm looking for the same thing.
But basically it's just like you have a great connection with the person, and she also like you outsource the research for new talents, let's say.
Oh, by the way, I'm doing this thing where like there are some really interesting countries in the world that I want to visit, but I know that like game is shit there. So what I'm doing is I'm not going to those countries so I could go there with some chick.
Oh, okay. So
It's
she.
like it's gonna be shit there, but if I want to go there, so like I don't know, like Thailand, for example. I'm not really interested in Daygame in Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to go to Thailand, so I would want to go there with a chick, and I wouldn't have to game there.
But she might do the recruiting for you.
I don't think I can do that here. Like that's what Europe is for, or like Latin America, where like game is amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like it's like Southeast Asia, like oh yeah,
Well, I mean, you need to also depends what do you like, I guess, because to me, I like Southeast Asia. I like the food from there, and I mean, I've been to Bali, been to Thailand plenty of times, but I'm not really going there with the idea of, oh my God, like my expectations about what revolves around sex is completely different.
yeah. I don't think I would be into those chicks that are there. It just doesn't seem like my type.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own preferences, and I think everybody knows by now that I'm a big Latina guy. So,
Yeah, I've heard how you're into Brazilian trannies.
oh yeah, that's the secret. Oh, it's out there.
So okay, so the second thing you've started doing is you're opening wherever you are and whatever is happening, whatever the setting is, you don't give a fuck, you open.
Hmm.
Is there anything else that you see that clearly has changed in your game, in the way you do things with girls and
No, I would say with these two, I think our behavioral shifts. Everything else kind of follow similar. Even with texting, I'm not beating around, wait, I need to find the perfect ping, and she wrote this, so I need to find a way to phrase it so it's 2/3 shorter.
oh fuck that shit.
I was, literally when you follow the rules to a point where, yeah, instead of being productive, they become counterproductive,
Yeah. Actually, so what I noticed about texting is I do agree with 2/3, especially for maybe when you're learning, maybe once you're at like 20, 30 days, like I don't give a fuck what you do. Like I text however the fuck I want to text. I will very often text with chicks in the evening. Very often.
Yeah, that's one I think is still fine. Also because when you have, like, for my case, for example, I had to break this rule because these girls were working and couldn't see the mobile during the day.
Exactly.
So what do you do? It's like, oh
And
wait,
in
I wait
Latin
24
America,
hours.
exactly. Because Latin America is a big thing.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to adapt. You need to understand the concept behind the rules, because that's why they were made for. Because there was an observation, they gave a concept, and they gave us rules. But if you know the rules, you can break them like a pro, something like that. Picasso, for I don't know. Well, anyway, it's just like,
Picasso.
yeah, Picasso. So that's what you need to understand what's behind it. So, for example, I was like, well, I need to not show that interested, but then the conversations were always falling cold, kind of. Like, what are we talking about really here? We're just making noise. Instead of sending short, witty, almost sexual comment, that would spike a little bit a conversation. And like, oh, so what do you do? It's like, well, I don't know. I think I'm shopping for sex toys online or some stuff like that. And then you can start to have, like, well,
Were you actually saying that?
of course. I'm
No, no,
gonna
no.
show
I'm
to you
asking.
later.
I'm just asking.
No, but it's just like you do something, and I think you also need to be coherent because with the image I present and with the kind of person I am, you would expect that, So if you're like, super shy and I would say falling into the nerd a little bit stereotype
For now.
for now, because then you're gonna evolve. I would say, yeah, taking things step by step, and
Yeah.
follow the rules and, stick to the fundamentals. But then after you understand the things behind it, you improve, you progress.
After you prove that you understand it by getting a shitload of plays,
Yeah.
not just knowing the theory and spitting it in a chat,
Yeah, well,
and then you prove it with the
of
results.
course. But it's just like, well, this is a very fail or do situation, because there is no award for participating. It's not that someone, have sex with you, just like, oh, you were such a good boy that you just tried. I had to suck your dick. No, it doesn't work like that. You either win or you either lose. It's more the time to lose, yes, but when you win, it's so freaking sweet. So it makes it worth it.
Okay, so let's talk about BDSM.
Oh, yeah.
So you did start getting into this shit while we were living in Mexico.
A
You
little
were
bit
like
before that.
buying some stuff there, like some like magic wands and some butt plugs and whatnot, and
Yeah.
so maybe you can give like a very simplified short version of how you introduce that stuff to chicks, and how did you get them to be open to try those things with you, because that's what a lot of guys want to know. How do I start? Like, I'm interested in that and don't know a
Hmm.
lot of shit about it, but I need someone to learn it with. So how the fuck do I get a chick to try it with me? So how did you do that?
Okay, well, I would say the process it's a little bit similar. Well, not the process, but the way you get there. Uh, First, you need to establish trust, because telling to someone, "Hey, I'm gonna put a blindfold and tie you with ropes around your body so you cannot move." I mean, from outside, yeah, things could look a little bit saucy,
By the way, before, like, let me add that lately all of my pools, including like whether it's like day game or online or anything else, like I think like almost all of them or all of them have been like, let's go to my place, I'll tie you up.
Well,
I've done a same delay where I just like pulled for bondage for same delay in Argentina.
ah, that's the sweetest one. But you see, in this case, you need to introduce the argument sooner or later at the date, you know? So, because it's not like, well, let's go back at my place, I have some ropes, I'm going to tie you up. It's like, wait,
So
wait,
so
what?
how did you introduce that?
Well, I guess sooner or later you start to talk about sex, whether you do the questions game or any, you end up there naturally. If there is a little bit of spark, that's, it always happens like that. And then you start to talk about, kinks. Because, look, everybody has a kink, or a fetish, let's say. And it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly healthy to have, imagination and having particular desires. So, you just need to show that you're not judging, because, if you judge someone else for that, someone else could judge you for that too. So, what's the point? And yeah, you just go like that, start to be honest, present your case, like, look, well, I'm into dominance, ropes, blindfolds, giant vibrating ones.
So how do you go from there? Like, what do you do? Like, so you start talking about sex, you start talking about ropes. So how do you get from there to trying those things with her?
Well, of course, like I said, she needs to trust you. uh, you need to establish, the classic basic trust that, yeah, I'm not gonna wake up in a bath full of ice without a
Do
kidney
you have some
tomorrow.
specific ways how you do that?
uh, I don't know if a specific way, but I guess I'll just be honest, and show that I have no judgment, and just tell my stories. When you go to Berlin, you do kinky shit in these places.
Also, they basically really start seeing you as this guy with experience who's gonna show them things, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah, that reaction I get pretty much
Sí,
at the
papi.
time, like, yeah,
Papi.
ven aquí, mamacita.
Quiero chupar tu pija, papi. That's what they
Oh,
say, right?
oh, you learn Spanish very well, my
Oh,
friend.
dude, I've learned like, sí, sí, papi, me gusta tu pija. Coges bien.
And no rico.
Rico, sí, rico, papi. Dame más fuerte.
So yeah, that's Spanish 101 for the podcast listeners.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the kind of reaction.
Dame tu leche. That's the best one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's the kinkiest I've heard in like, because all of the shit is like one, like all of that is like one level, and like in Latin America, dirty okay is on a whole new level. But when you hear the dame tu leche, papi, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm popping.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I keep interrupting you after drinking too much mate.
Yeah, it's getting you all energized, huh?
Yes. So, how do you build trust? So by telling your stories, being open, showing this image that you are this. You're basically sharing your experiences that you had so far. You show that, okay, I've done these things before, and then girls have trusted me before, and by that way they kind of, I think they start seeing you as a like person of authority on these topics. Is that
could be as well. Not that they claim it or I act like I'm a Mr. Know-It-All. I just probably know it a little bit more about them. Because let's be real, most of the girls they actually fantasize about stuff like that, but because they've seen it in movies, 50 Shades of Greys or the Polish movie. Funny thing is Italians.
Srpski film.
365 days. So that I was like, oh my god, the Italian mafia guy tying me to the bed. Oh,
Mario the Bone.
Yeah. You know, let me check your pipes. So it's just being honest, tell your experiences. Well, and also understand the guys that probably listening now is sitting there is like, yeah, I'd like to try to, but I have no fucking experience. So
but that was your case in the beginning. You were asking, you were saying that shit, I need someone to try this with. It's like I want to try this, but I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. In some like with ropes, that was the case with ropes.
Yes. So with ropes, for example, the case was like, well, first of all, like with everything, you start with the literature. You know, like if you go scientific, you start with the literature. You see what's already out there.
With what? Literature.
Literature.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, some of accent for you. So there's nothing new under the sun. Everything has been reported, everything has been documented. There's a ton of free things that you can search online. And then you just need to practice. Like now I'm picking up electric guitar, and it's just like there's a gazillion of free guitar classes. But you know what's gonna make the difference? 1 hour a day like this. And in Mexico, you remember I was sending you the photos of me.
Yeah, you were trying the ties and asking, is this correct? Is this correct? It's like no. Like,
I was tying my legs, you know, all the time. Normal. But yeah, that is just like see what's available, learn so you don't do major fuck ups because you need to get a basic of what you're doing. Is like, you know, if I make a self-collapsing knot over your wrist, that's not good, you know. And then you know the other person, you start to explore. You put it in the way that you start to explore things together. So it's an adventure that you and the other person are having.
So how do you bring up exploring new things together that neither of you have tried? How do you bring that up?
Well, I would say depends on the context. When you
just
talk
give an example, motherfucker.
So
if for people who are in that position, they don't know what to say.
I would say probably if you want to try new sexual things, you should talk about them like probably after sex.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
that's the most honest thing. Is like, you know, really like doing this with you. Blah 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 blah. Have you ever done XYZ?
Have you ever fucked a guy in the ass with a strap on?
Oh Jesus Christ!
And he's like, no, and I'm willing to try.
And like, oh shit!
And you're like, oh yeah, I do that every day.
It's like, wait, what? I mean, if that's what you like, because I mean, there's also a big stigma about guys getting things up their ass. You're,
This conversation escalated quickly.
yeah, it's becoming dark quickly, you know. But hey, you know, that's a funny thing because even on all these online pickup communities, everybody is so focused on having the sex, you know. Nobody talks about having good sex because let's be real. You convince someone to have sex with you, you know, and you have mediocre to low quality sex. You're not gonna see them that often, to be
And
honest.
they're not gonna see me as well.
Yeah, you
Well,
know.
like, yeah, it's whoever sucks at sex. Like, if a chick doesn't give head, then well, nice meeting you. Bye. Like,
Yeah, I mean, what was the point of improving so well that then you have to set for? Imagine this: you finally arrive at the top of your championship, and the award is just like a tiny wooden medal. Don't you think it's ridiculous? Like, well, I fought to be here, I trained, I improved to be here, and this is the reward.
hashtag Olympic Games. Sort of what's happening there, I think.
Yeah, you know, so it doesn't make sense to become that good and then settle for less than good, you know. But you also need to be good in
So how
that
does
too.
that tie together with exploring things with girls?
That, of course, if you don't have experience, you need to get, you know, and exploring things with girls is actually also very bond building because you have, you know, an experience together, you discover things together, you get to know each other together. But I would say also builds up your sexual confidence because a lot of guys, you know, for example, they get a lot of anxiety when they have to pull the trigger, like from,
Because they don't know what to do.
yeah.
And then you get, like, when you hang out and explore things with a chick, with one chick, you kind of learn to understand what works for her
Hmm.
after a few times, and then you are with the next chick and you learn to see, okay, what works with this chick, like how do I make this girl come, how do I make that girl come, and all of a sudden you're pretty good at making girls come.
Yeah. And then when you get this sexual confidence, I think is also translating into your set confidence, you know, because
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if it's big dick energy or whatever, you know, but it,
Talk about you. I have the tiniest dick in the world,
oh man,
like a little pickle.
so sorry. But hey, you know, there are things we can do here. But yeah, that's
I'm joking, guys. I don't have a big
no, he's
dick.
not. Trust me. So yeah, that's just like I don't know.
Ask Mr. T with double team the girl.
Oh. Oh man.
Actually, I don't know if people know the story. Oh, whatever.
Well, I think now they know. So
That was not
hey.
true. That was not true. We're both virgins. anyways, yeah. So become better at sex, so girls want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I am soon doing a video, and I will be coaching now shitload in July. So I don't know when I'm gonna make the video, but I'm gonna make a video about the best PUA books.
Mm-hmm.
And two books that I will talk about are about becoming better in bed.
Mm-hmm.
One is about going down on girls, and another one is about like specific things, technical things in sex. But we will leave that for that video. And Wolf actually knows those books as well, at least one of them, because we talked about it.
Can we make names? Or you want to talk about this another time?
Subscribe to my YouTube channel to
Oh.
find out more. No. She Comes First. It's a very
Okay.
good
Yeah,
book.
it's a good
Especially,
book
I
too.
haven't read all of it, but the beginning is good. Like, beginning kind of teaches you the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's talk threesomes. This is the last topic I want to cover today before we go to Decathlon to buy some dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
Threesomes. You were setting up your first threesomes,
Well,
like
I had threesomes in the past. You know?
like, yeah, but like cold approach threesomes or whatever, like threesomes in this part of your life, not when you were like a
Oh, okay.
20-year-old party boy in like
Yeah.
some town and like a club promoter.
Good old days.
Yeah, so now you're an adult, like a
Am I?
serious.
Am I?
Well, I still don't feel adult
Uh,
in many ways. So how did that go? Because you were struggling in the beginning, but then you.
Well, that was an interesting period. First of all, like I said, it depends always where you are, you know, because if you're in a remote small city, it's a little, guys, you need to move where you have volume, you know.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
I'm sorry to break it down for, I mean, why would you even want to live in a small city, you know? And or you move to a medium big touristical city where you have a lot of seasonal touristical volume, like in my case, and yeah, you know, you. So there's the thing: if you ask to majority of girls if they are bi, I think it's kind of fashionable these days for girls to say they're bi. I don't know. It's
But
like,
then when you try to set up a threesome, they don't do
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah, they get
yeah.
anxiety and everything, or they never proactively chase that thing. Just they're bi because they made out while drunk with their best friend, you know. And it's like that doesn't make you bi, you know. They just kiss the girl.
I mean, I don't know. If you fuck a guy in the ass when you're drunk, does that make you bi? It does. So what's the difference between
Whoa!
that and a chick making out with her friend when she was drunk?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not thinking that the two things could be put on the same plate, you know, because one might be a little bit more sexual than the
Well,
other.
yeah.
But
So they're bi, but they're not bi.
at least, so I, in my experience, the right question to ask is like, have you ever fooled around, or have you ever thought about fooling around with another girl? You know, because it's not that you can set up a tradition. It's like, hey, you and you, now you kiss, now come back to my place.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
so you're bringing up this topic of, have you had this experience? Have you thought about this? Okay, what's next?
I mean, usually after sex. That's
Obviously, that's
great.
after sex.
Great
After second
question.
time you fuck them, probably.
Yeah,
Sometimes first one as well.
yeah. Well, depends how you know
How much time you have?
exactly.
Okay.
So and then you're just like you try to set it up. So my first one, I mean, back in November, it was Daygame set. Classic. Actually, it was the same day delay. So after we just did venue one, back straight to mine. And I asked that and say, oh yeah, I done it a couple of times. I was like, okay, so this person knows. And with this person, I had a foursome, a threesome, no, foursome and two threesomes. And in one case, she brought a friend that was visiting in holiday to my place. So that was the easiest one I ever
So
done.
basically, you brought up this topic, you found the right girl, and then,
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly. So a lot of girls are interested into that, but you still have to lead, and you're the one that make things happen. Because if you wait for girls to, m- like they have a way of getting lost in the process. So you need to lead and guide through making things happen, and don't be anxious. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen, nobody dies. But you need to provide a structure for that to happen. So it's like you're setting up. Is of course you always ask to everybody involved, if they're comfortable with this and that. And also, I noticed girls, they're much more forgiving about other girls, like in terms of like game. Like if a girl tries to game her, and she doesn't say the best thing at the right time, they're more forgiving than with us. So
So you mean that's when you go out with a girl to meet other girls in those types of
yeah,
scenarios, or?
yeah. If it's just leading, and the other girl is not the best, she's probably they don't even like physically that much.
Oh wait,
They will still go it for the feeling, for the experience.
have you had the case where you go out with the girl and like to meet other girls? Have you done that?
Like we go to a party
Yeah,
together.
something like that. Not like a sex party, just like a
No,
bar,
no,
club,
no, no, like
whatever.
a
Like we're
club.
not talking BDSM
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. I went. It was funny because she got drunk and she started to hit on all the girls. Like one of these. drunk guys that just hump behind you. And I was like, what the hell is that?
Oh, that's
It was
funny.
hilarious, man.
That's funny.
But yeah, but actually it never, funny thing, it never happened when the other like she was trying to make things happen. It was always me pushing for that, you know. And you're like, okay, you know.
So you still have to step in with the real game.
Yeah, there's, but hey, that's the nice thing. If you get coached by this big ass Latvian guy, once you learn it, it's an asset that stays with you. It can be used to actually get what you want. So in my case, I understood how literally the structure of leadership works in this thing. Because before it was like, oh, women want a man that is a leader, what the hell it means. It's like,
Yeah.
can you show me like a practical example? Like, I don't know what it means. And now I
You mean speaking
understood
the
it.
venue when you go on a date and saying, let's meet here at this time.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but that's not only that, it's like what to do when you push, when you release, when you're like, okay, let's chill.
Yes, it's knowing how to handle.
I think the best analogy I could make is the maestro of the orchestra, that he gives the tempo. You would think it's just a guy with a stick. No, actually, it's the most powerful man inside the whole freaking theater. So, yeah, that's when you actually really learn it and you feel it, and it's something that actually help you in getting what you want from your sex life.
It's like reeling in a big fish. You
Yeah,
gotta know how to
yeah,
handle the rod and when to let it run and when to how to make it a bit more tired and then go for the kill.
yeah.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground. So guys, after sex, start talking about her open-mindedness.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this was for a bit more for guys that have like a few lays under their belt. This wasn't maybe for the guys that are just starting out, which is obviously the biggest part of the audience. I don't know. Any closing comments before we go to Decathlon?
Well, we're not going buy sex toys at Decathlon, I suppose, or are we? Because if you have enough fantasy, everything is a sex toy.
Exactly.
I mean, again, guys, it was great. We're gonna have a blast there, and everybody signed up for Budapest, right?
Budapest is fully booked. Yes,
Uh,
Budapest is fully booked. Sorry, guys. Fuck off.
you guys
You
gonna see a
missed.
good one coming there because the
You
whole
missed.
gang is there.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a few guys coming with us. Next, I'm going to Sweden. As I said, I wanted to go see the hot Swedish blondes, and I've heard many things about them. Some good, some bad, and I wanted to test it for myself, see what works there. Are they as open-minded as people say, or are they as traditional as people say? I've heard both things, but they're hot as fuck, so I'm going there. And in September, I'm going on like a bigger adventure to a place slightly outside of Europe, which is full with Russians and Belarusians and many Ukrainians as well. Everyone in one pot. For those of you who watch my videos, everyone understands which place I'm talking about. So let's not talk about dates, but if you are interested in going on these journeys with me, I'll be in Europe until mid-October most probably, and then I'll head to New York City. So if you want to do anything, then the link to find out more and sign up for coaching is in the description. Fill the form at the bottom of the page. I will get back to you with all the information, dates, like options for cities, prices, etc. And then if you like everything, we'll hop on a short WhatsApp call to talk details, see which city is best for you. I'll ask a few questions about you because I need to know who I'm working with. And you probably have a few questions you want to know about me to figure out if this is the right thing to do for you. If you like this lovely podcast, then, well, you know the drill. Subscribe to the channel or follow this on Apple Podcast or on Spotify. Click like, subscribe, all of that stuff. All of that helps me get discovered by more lovely daygamers who, instead of wanting to hear a lot of mental masturbation, want to hear technical advice. Thank you for listening, guys, and see you in the next podcast. Ciao.
Ciao.